Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good Tuesday. It's July 20th. We're gonna talk about the market, GameStop option plays we're doing, technical analysis, what I think is gonna happen soon. I might have to do 2 videos today. There's a lot to talk about. I did a lot of other plays that worked out really well, and yeah. Anyway, sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Hit the notification bell if you haven't. Just watching the SPY here and GME here in these last few minutes. We've got 5 minutes left. Kind of tweaking out a little bit, and it's not just because I had my coffee. I actually had it earlier, but what we see here is different than what we've been watching today. GME's been melting up today, and it's nice, but it's been ugly, honestly. Just low volume melt up. Same thing that the SPY's been doing. It's like when a stock is moving not from conviction. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just kind of, that's what it's looked like on GME as well as the market. GME there was no volume. Just wasn't looking strong. I mean, it was going up today, but just not strong. Low volume and just really just consolidating. So on the hourly, we've been looking bullish ever since really the 15th. MACD's crossed over. We had this big thing here, and then we kind of did some consolidating here, and then today it was melting up, and I was curious what was going to happen at 180. I kind of thought we were going to hit 180 and then come down, and then I was looking at it more, and I'm like, well, we've made higher lows, so it's quite likely we'll make higher highs. So I was like, all right, if we're kind of making this little trend up, then maybe we'll keep going. So we kept going. And then when I got to here, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Going to consolidate and probably come back down here the next couple days. And really, if we look at the daily, then we're going to wait for MACD to kind of get to a flattened point and cross over. But then all of a sudden, coming into power hour and towards the end of the day, my thesis changed when we got all this volume and these huge candles, and when the SPY completely inversed it. And the fact that GME is actually holding up here. When it does these pumps, it literally pumps and dumps just for a couple of minutes, and then it comes back. The fact that it's holding up is different, and that's very good. Very, very good. Look at this, though. Look at this huge 5-minute candle and all this volume that came in. It's at 1530. If you look back here on the SPY, right here, 1530. SPY was melting up all day. This was just hitting a new high, and then SPY comes down with some velocity, because that's a much bigger candle than it had on the downside, and that's when GME ripped. And since then, SPY has been coming down, GME's been going up. This is very good. This to me means there was some covering going on, some margin calling, some covering. It looks like it was being pulled out of the market and put into GME. Just the way that GME moved, and then also confirmed with the fact that the market was going down. It doesn't always, like, sometimes they'll inverse, but it doesn't look like covering. This looked like covering with the velocity of this and then this. And typically, actually, GME moves with the market. As you saw today, it all melted up together. When we're seeing the negative beta is when there's covering. I think there's forced covering going on. And the fact that GME is holding up right now, very, very strong. So I actually went in really heavy with some calls. I think this is during today, I was thinking it's probably going to consolidate, come back down here. I actually even got some puts right around 180. I was like, all right, this thing's going to come back down here. But it all changed right here this last hour, last 30 minutes, with this big strong candle with more volume than we've seen today. And then with also inversing SPY. Look at the SPY come down here. Let's see how GME does, because GME could come down with it some. But look at that. We noticed this the other day when the SPY was dumping. GME just holds up. And the fact that it's diverging basically from the SPY that's good. It doesn't have to inverse and literally rip when this goes down. I think that's when hedge funds are being margin called and being liquidated and covering. But if it is able to hold up when this is coming down, that's all you need. On the hourly, it is overbought right now. So even if we do have some consolidation tomorrow, this is still today's price action is very, very strong. Yeah, it looks like you could say this is like a double bottom here, and then this is a higher low. I thought we were going to set up kind of a head and shoulders, and maybe we're still kind of doing that. Here would be like the head, and then here's a shoulder, and then we'd maybe set up a shoulder over here as a consolidation for a day or two. But I'm not sure about that now. tomorrow could be consolidation, or tomorrow could just rip. Consolidation could look like kind of a flat day, open to close. Could have a big range open to close, but basically where it's not a huge change. And it could even come down some for consolidation, but just basically consolidating this price and smoothing out this MACD on the hourly, but more importantly on the daily, to where this MACD comes up to the signal, kind of evens out. This big uptick on the RSI today, though, that's a very bullish, very, very bullish. So I did get calls. The premium actually is low enough now to where if you're not too far out of the money, okay, market just closed. If you're not too far out of the money, you can actually do well. I had 195 calls. That's crazy. Actually, I sold those. I had 195 calls I sold earlier today. They were up 100%, and I sold them right around here. And then this thing kind of just kept melting up. They didn't gain a lot of premium with this slow melt up, but up here, I bet those things doubled even more. It's no big deal. But I went back into more calls up here, and I will show you those. Whew, man. Okay, and those calls are up a lot already. Okay, so yeah, I gotta talk about GME first. So let's see, we have all these puts that we sold, and those of course are up today. The calls I opened up just now in the last 30 minutes till market close, I got 32 230 calls for this Friday. So these ones I gotta watch real close, because these will lose. These are far enough out of the money that they will lose value pretty quickly if we have just a completely flat day. Given it is only Tuesday, so I have a few more days of the week, so I'll probably try and ride these some. If it looks slow, but these are still coming up, if these come up to 100%, I'll probably sell half if it's slow. Yeah, because this is pretty big. This is 5,200 in these calls right here that I put in, and then I also got next week calls 320, so these even further out of the money. I got 39 of these, so this is 4,800. So yeah, the premium honestly that's not too bad. It's not like we've seen. So potentially a gamma squeeze this week if we keep this up. And I got next week too, because if the squeeze literally is starting, or maybe it started in January, December, whatever. If the end of it is starting the proper peak of the squeeze, then the calls will just go up. I won't have another opportunity. I mean, I will, but they'll just be more and more expensive. And I'll want more time. That's why I got next week. I mean, squeeze could last weeks, could last months. I mean, if it's a Tesla type squeeze, it'll last really years. I don't think it's going to be like that though. I think it's going to be quicker. So far, the squeeze has lasted, I would say probably 6 months. But anyway, so yeah, I went in pretty heavy with these naked options, which you can get burned on it pretty easily. So I was waiting for confirmation. Oh man. Yeah, and I really didn't have it all day. I was even saying in Discord, I was like, guys, chill out. Like there's no volume. It's just a melt up. We're just consolidating in a range, up 7%, 8%. Doesn't matter a whole lot. We don't see velocity, and it's not breaking out. Once it broke the 180, that was like, okay, this is good. Still, I wasn't convinced, so I just thought that was a new high. But the fact that we had this right here, and then stayed up here to close, even if we consolidate some tomorrow and we even come down a little bit, this just happened. And this is something. This is failed to deliver covering. This is hedge funds liquidating. I don't know. Maybe a small one, maybe a small position, but it was something because it inversed the spine. It had violence in it. Little shaky. But so if we look at the chart here on the daily, if we compare it back here, so we had this failed to deliver cover here. We had one here, sell off. I was hoping it wasn't going to be a long drawn out consolidation like this was. It still could be. Today, this could still be part of the consolidation. This right here, these 3-4 candles, that could be like this area right here. So we still could have, this still could happen. I'm less convinced today that this is going to happen though, just because of the last 30 minutes there. I think this right here, where we are, is more like right here. I think we did this run down right here, that run down right here, and then I think we skipped this part and we're here. Because this part was a failed deliver, I think that was supposed to happen, but since they offered shares, it messed it up. So they basically covered with those shares that were offered potentially. I think this price action right here, green pretty good body, little doji red, bigger body green, bigger body green. I think it's like something similar to this right here. We just have this step up. So if you look here though, what's happening is you're having this and you're having almost a week of consolidating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 days of consolidating there. But what this did was this changed the sentiment, this changed the momentum, this changed the swing to bullish. And that's what we've been looking for. So these calls I have for this week, these could expire worthless. We might just have a couple big, you know, this, and then let's see, was this even on a weekend? No, this was a week. Let's see, when did this start? So 11, where's the weekend? 17, so the weekend was right here. It was bullish going into the weekend. The MACD hadn't crossed over though. See right here. So then the next day, that Monday, ripped up and then consolidated that whole week. But what happened? If people were paying attention to the technicals, it crossed over and we were bullish, even though it stayed flat. And really, you would have want to get your calls like right in here on just a real flat day. A lot of consolidation, but the MACD was bullish and you're just waiting. Or if you wanted more confirmation, you wait till this day. A lot of volume, and once you break out past those highs, past the 188, and then if you got them here, tons of upside. Tons still of upside to 344. So I might be early on this. I might be a little early. I could still scale in more. And I could still sell some. I just need to take profits. I need to take some profits on options. Can't be diamond handing options. That's not how they work. But the fact that we upticked here and all that price action at the end, and then this, I mean, this formation is actually very bullish too. We had the little doji down here, big body, and then a little body red, and then bigger engulfing body. That's a bullish pattern, and then even a bigger, I don't know what this one's called, but this is even another very bullish move. So I am freaking hyped. Yeah, so I showed you the options on that. I still have a put credit spread for Friday also, so that's 205. So basically GME has to close above 205 and that will become worthless, and then I'll just keep the max gain of 2100 on that. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. That's the, okay, that's so confusing. So this is the put I bought, and since it actually added it to another one, so it made it a put credit spread. And that's why I was actually able to get more buying power, which kind of blows my mind. Gives me a little more idea on how the hedge funds are working with margin. Basically, I only had $4,000 in buying power. I bought a put, and that gave me like 15 grand more buying power just because of the margin requirements of selling premium on GME is insane. I think it's 300%. So it's a trick I accidentally just did by buying a put. I bought one put and it cost me $292. Then I got access to another like 20 grand of basically of my money, but they just have margin requirements. If that confused you, sorry, it's confusing me too. But yeah, so put credit spread there, and then this naked put, which yeah, hopefully that expires worthless. And then we've got another put vertical. Let's see. No, so these belong with another credit spread. Oh no, that's a put I sold. Okay, so that's on the put I sold maybe. Yeah, so I sold the 205 put. That makes sense, and I bought a 170, so it made a spread. Okay, so 210 put, 207.5 put. I sold those, and if GME closes above 210, then all those will expire worthless, and I'll just keep the premium on it, which is fine. I won't own the shares at that point, but that's okay. We have 400 shares, and we'll be all right with that. Other plays we did today, I'll just go over real quick. Do it in this video. SPY, I did SPY calls yesterday. If you guys watched or were on Discord, I saw SPY, tank like everyone else did. It actually looked really weak yesterday. I was surprised. I actually got some calls. I got them too early yesterday for yesterday's expiration. Was it yesterday? Because that's Monday. Yeah. Had them for yesterday and it never bounced, just kind of faded off. I'm like, wow, weak. So actually towards the end of the day, the SPY calls expiring that day, yesterday, I was like, those are gonna be worthless. I'm gonna get them for tomorrow because this thing's gonna bounce. Only reason I thought that was because this RSI was so low. And this is, SPY is like one of the biggest ETFs. So it's not gonna hang out down here. If it's gonna be here, it's gonna be on its way down. It's not just gonna stay flat with the low RSI. So I knew there was gonna be a bounce, or I assumed. Didn't know, but got calls on that. They came up like 200%, I think, at the most. It's hard to see now. I wanted to show you guys though, but basically they're all, I think I sold all of them. Yeah. So I bought them yesterday. They both came up about 200%. So I sold one. It wasn't quite 200%. Sold one, and so basically doubled my money. I can't remember what they cost, but say I put in $100, sold one of the two calls I had, and I had $200 in, and then I had one call left. This wasn't quite how it worked, but I'm trying to explain it. And then with that one call left, I actually sold a call a little further next strike or 2 strikes up out of the money. And to sell that call, I received premium, and the premium on that was, say, $200. So then I locked in, basically, locked in the profits on that one, and I still had upside potential. The upside potential was just in case SPY kept running, and it could, but I actually ended up just closing the whole play. But I legged into it, and I don't have it to show you, so sorry. Airbnb, caught Airbnb and coin really well today. I don't know. I just mentally, it's been hard for me to trade normally with GME the way it's been. I've just been bearish and not wanting to go long on anything. But if I'm focused and I'm thinking, okay, very short term, I can get these bounces, especially when the market sells off like it did yesterday, and then get a nice bounce from it. Airbnb, I just saw here, basically strictly technicals. I picked up a call somewhere around here, green over the 9 moving average, MACD crossed over, kind of a double bottom here. And so I thought, at least for today, and then I look back it out to the daily, and I'm like, okay, it's very bearish. However, this is way down from the moving average. So at least a call, short-term call, right here in this like 137 area, and thinking it's probably gonna rally today and then maybe some tomorrow, and then probably keep coming back down. But really short term, I think, do I still have that one? Yeah, so I actually legged into this one. I still have it. So basically I bought 2 138 calls. At one point they were up like 60%, and then now they're down 34%. But look, I have these 2 calls I sold 1 strike further out of the money, and how are these up 15%? So this is what I did with the SPY that I was trying to explain earlier also. So these 2 calls cost me $206 total. Then they gained value, 60 something percent, whatever it was. Once they're up that point, then I sold 2 calls at the 139 strike for $246. So right there, I've locked in $46 profit no matter what, even if Airbnb gets delisted, whatever. But I get upside potential, and I'm actually a little hazy on the upside potential. I know if I open a debit spread, it's the difference between the strikes, but it started to confuse me. But anyways, you can see as when I sold these calls, Airbnb has come down since then. So these calls I sold have actually gained value, or lost. Yeah, gained value. The ones I sold gained value. If that makes any sense. So that's basically how I'm playing that one. And then when I go to sell it, it'll just buy back the ones I sold and sell the ones I bought. But I've locked in my gains now, and I still have upside potential to, I believe, $200 because it's $100 because it's $1 strike between the two calls, and I have 2 of them. So that's how I did Airbnb. Airbnb, this might be the end of its little bounce, because if you look at this day, I had 1 and then 2. But then I was thinking, all right, on the daily, this thing's kind of found its support here at this kind of 130 range. So this might be kind of a longer sustained run up. But then you think, oh, the market's going to crash, especially if GME is going to start running, getting margin called. So I'm getting out of a long plays quick, getting in and out pretty quick. Still have this one. We'll hold on to that one. I'll show you the coin play I did also. It's funny because I said, oh, I'm getting puts on coin right when it opens, because I saw Bitcoin selling off. I'm like, that should hurt coin. Bitcoin is selling off, by the way. It's just so poised to just fall off a cliff right here. Coming. But coin, I looked on the daily and I'm like, okay, it's found a floor here. As you can see, it's a 1, 2, and this is a 3rd bottom. And then you can also see an RSI divergence here with each of them, as well as the MACD. MACD is almost always right. If you follow the MACD, this is staying flat down here, but the MACD is coming up. The MACD on here is actually not a very good indicator on this one. The RSI divergence is pretty good though. But on the daily, it's definitely bearish. We're under the 9 moving average. MACD's crossed over. But if you look at it, it's pretty far down from the moving average. This is kind of the same type of play in a way to Airbnb. Really where I saw the divergence though is on this hourly chart. And maybe I'm getting lucky on some of these. Maybe I'm not reading it quite right, but I'm reading some of them right, I think. So we have a low RSI right here, and this is our low, which is 220. And then we have a higher RSI here, but a lower strike price, and then even higher RSI here and a lower strike. So it kept coming down and the RSI kept coming up. So that's the RSI divergence. You had that, as well as this MACD crossed over. It even crossed over back here, stayed flat, stayed above, stayed bullish, and then stayed good here. So I actually picked up this coin call like right here, just based on that. And I got a short term just this week, so I'm thinking, okay, this thing's going to come up, maybe hit here, and then maybe keep coming back down, or maybe it'll keep going because this is already a floor. But I think it'll probably have resistance up here and then keep coming down. Coin play went great. It was up at 140% at one point. This one I left naked, so it's a 227.5 call. It's up 93%. I only have one of them. You know, you've got to play the options small, position wise, relatively to your overall account, maybe 10%, maybe less. That's what I do at least. So it's a 227.5 for Friday, which is that's 227.5. So I want this thing to get in the money. That's kind of my goal, is to get just in the money just before I sell it. So that's why I got 227.5 right here. And that was the coin play. And then I sold TCAT shares. That thing's trash right now. You saw Airbnb. Rocket had good news today. Let me pull this up. I could have a whole video about Rocket. This video is so long. RocketHomes.com. This just got introduced. This is Rocket Homes. I don't know if you can see it, but basically this is like a Redfin or Zillow. Rocket has their own now. So now it's basically everything goes through Rocket. They do your mortgage, they do your refinance, and you can buy your house through Rocket. I haven't explored it too much, but this just got released today. So this is super bullish on Rocket, which I love anyways, and I have it in the long term, and I'd like to sell puts on it, but I'm just waiting for market correction. But anyways, that's this green candle we have here today, and this big volume bump. This is so cheap, 16 bucks for this company. This thing's been suppressed for so long by shorts. Look at this. Short squeeze, and then look at it even drop further down here. There is some bear sentiment to it if housing market crashes, this or that. So I like the play, but there are some factors. This short squeeze, I was up 14K or something, held on to it, came all the way back down, made a couple grand. But anyways, I scaled into some heavy calls on Rocket, which is tough right now because I'm bearish on the market. But we got these cover earnings. These are let's see, 18 of them. The premiums is so cheap right now. This is when you want to buy, when it's boring and it's cheap. This is when you buy premium, especially out of the money. These are 25 cents. I got 18 August 21st, 21 calls. So basically by a month from now, Rocket, then this will cover earnings too. Oh, what am I doing? This one, August 21 calls. And then if you look here, you go earnings. You've got earnings on 8/4. So this will give me like 2 strikes past earnings, just in case it sells off during earnings, which that can definitely happen. Even if it's good, doesn't really matter. So yeah, we got those. 21 is a pretty low strike too. I'm pretty excited about that play, and I'm thinking possibly hedge funds are getting liquidated. If there is a large short position on Rocket that we don't know about, this thing's going to squeeze again. Can't be certain though. And then yeah, I guess all else we did was those GME calls. I mean, we have a lot of shares, but yeah, we're up 22K today. And a lot of that's just GME and coming up. I mean, we were down 40 yesterday, so big swings in this swing trading account, or trading account, whatever this is. I'm going to be getting SPY puts, but you have to wait for it to settle, consolidate. It's clearly not bearish today. Huge epic bounce. This is why we got calls. This is a big daily candle. I don't think we're going to make all-time highs again. I could be wrong though. That happened back here, and it happened here, and it happened here. So I could be wrong, but I think this is it. I think this was the top, and I think we'll see maybe a little bounce and then kind of come down. Today I was calling at the 430. I was saying right at 430, all we have to do is fill this gap. We did. We filled the gap to 432. I think it's over now. Maybe somewhat flat, and then we're going to continue our decline. So I'm going to wait like a day, see how it goes, wait for some price action and more bearish sentiment. But on the daily, this thing's very bearish. So SPY puts will be in my future. But once GME starts squeezing, I get kind of distracted and I'm not thinking about anything but that. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. We have a Twitter. Follow us on there if you'd prefer. And Discord. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.